Hi, I'm Richard Byrne. In this video, I'm going to explain an image attribution scam that you should be on the lookout for if you have a website of any kind and you use images from sources like Pixabay, Pexels, or other places where you'll find images that are in the public domain. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this all started. This morning, I got an email that said DMCA copyright infringement notice. Now, this is the second time I've gotten this notice from this particular person. I get ones like this all the time, and I know they're a scam, and I'm going to point out why they're a scam right now. First of all, we'll see, it just says, Dear owner of freetechforteachers.com/search/label/spelling. So they're looking for the person who owns this website that has all of these spelling blog posts. And it says, I'm reaching out as your website features content that has infringed on one or more copyright image owned by our client, Wooden Earth Limited. Use of this image. Okay, let's look at the image. The image they link to is here on Imgur, and we'll see that there's no proof of ownership. Why don't they link to where it's owned on the website that they're claiming it's owned on? That's my first clue. All right. And it says, my second clue is on your webpage, and it says, again, link to just this generic spelling label. So this is all of my blog posts I've ever written and put the tag or label spelling on. So there's hundreds of them. So let's be a little more specific here, Sarah. And it says here, our client is happy for their image to be used and shared, however, proper attribution, right? Put a link to woodenearth.com within 7 days. Otherwise, we'll take legal action. I've assigned, right? Sarah Perkins, trademark attorney, author Davidson Law, all right? I wrote back to her, Dear Sarah, I might take you seriously if you actually link to a blog post and not a generic label. That tells me you're not really trying, you're just using automated script. And two, you can actually prove ownership of the image. The image is in the public domain as is found here. And a very quick reverse image search took me right back to pixabay.com where I originally got the image. And it will also take me back to my own blog post where I used that image that I got from Pixabay. That again, free for commercial use, no attribution required. All right. So at this point, I was already annoyed because of other things happening in my life, so I decided to dig into this a little bit more. So what did I do? Well, what I did is I looked at the original image, the original email, got the IP address of where this was sent from, looked it up, and sure enough, it's hosted by Namecheap, and the website itself is also hosted by Namecheap, but I went to the website. Just in case, I went to the website and looked around to see who is this Sarah Perkins person. Okay, Sarah Perkins deals in real estate law, all right, and LLCs. Nothing about copyright listed here. Okay, fine. All right, maybe she's branching out. Let's say maybe she's branching out. Now she's going to dabble into copyright law, okay? So let's just entertain that a little bit more. And they've got this article about what businesses should know about about copyright law. Right? As I'm reading this, I see law for small business as an attorney-owned company that provides. David Ferentz is licensed to practice law in New Mexico and before the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. What? This doesn't go along with a law firm that's supposed to be in Boston, right? So I did a little search on that, just law for small business, and sure enough, when I do this search, just do that, it takes us to this law firm here, law for small business in Albuquerque, New Mexico. What that tells me is this is a poor job of copying and pasting from another attorney website somewhere. All right, so that's another clue that this is probably a scam and not real. My next step is I went down and grabbed the address here. I'm like, okay, let's look up this law firm. So I looked it up in Google Maps, and that led me to findworkspaces.com. This is a generic co-working space. I can't imagine that any law firm that has as many attorneys as they do, that's been in business for as long as they claim to be in business, would be working out of a generic co-working space on the 17th floor of Huntington Avenue in Boston, Massachusetts. Right? Another clue, this is probably a scam. But let's go a little bit further. All right. So I do a lookup for Sarah Perkins in Boston, Massachusetts, or in Massachusetts. What I find is this artist. She looks nice. Actually, her pottery is actually pretty cool if you want to check it out. So check it out. But then let's go to the Massachusetts Bar Association, where I find out how to look up an attorney. And so what do? Well, let's put in Sarah Perkins. And let's do a little search and see Sarah Perkins. We've got Sarah Lynch Perkins inactive. All right. Doesn't have malpractice insurance and located in Newton, Massachusetts. And I have a Sarah Perkins Jones, name not spelled the same way and also not the same name. So let's go ahead and just look at Sarah. All right. All right. Admitted to the bar, not covered. All right. Inactive. All right. I'm pretty confident that this Sarah Perkins here is not an actual real attorney in Massachusetts, which led me to all of this to basically say to her, in other words, get lost, try your scam on someone else. Now, like I said, I've had scams like this come across my inbox before, and I wrote about one of them. I have a link to it in the description of this video. But if you get an email like this, you can probably ignore it, particularly if it has all those hallmarks of a scam that I've just pointed out for you. For more things about copyright and more things like this, please check out freetech4teachers.com or subscribe to my YouTube channel. But wait, there's more to this story. After I recorded the first part of this video, I decided to do a little more digging. I couldn't leave it where I had just left it, so let's take a look at what I did next. I used GoDaddy's Who Is database lookup to find out a little bit more information about this ArthurDavidson.com. And that told me that the domain was only registered in February of 2022, just last month, which coincidentally was the first time that I'd ever heard from this Arthur Davidson law firm. So I decided I'm going to do a little more digging. And I went over to the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine because, as Sarah pointed out to me in the email, the Internet Archive Wayback Machine keeps a permanent record of everything. Doesn't actually, but for this purpose, we'll say that it does. And so I put in ArthurDavidson.com, and look at this. The website was active in 2001 to 2025, so let's go back and see what it looked like back in 2025, the last time it was captured by the Internet Archive. And let's see, okay. And back then, it's kind of a park domain with a bunch of links to motorcycles and Harley-Davidson related stuff, as you might expect. So now let's fast forward to 2022. And now we don't see anything for the website at all after 2005. So for 17 years, this law firm has not actually had their website online, hasn't updated it. That's another clue that, hey, this Sarah Perkins is probably not actually a real attorney. And I did a little lookup on all these other attorneys, and none of them show up as attorneys in Boston, Massachusetts. So I'm going to confidently say, Sarah Perkins, copyright attorney, you can take a hike. All right, so that's the conclusion, for now at least, to this little copyright saga. If you're really interested in learning more about this, again, go ahead, hit the links that are right down below where I write a little bit more about copyright and what copyright means in the context of schools and in the context of school blogs and websites. As always, for more things like this, please check out freetech4teachers.com or subscribe to my YouTube channel.